What will people say? Will my children be okay? What will I be without external approval? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ms.Matheri show. So today I'm going to do a book review. It's not exactly a book review, but a concept I would like to talk about and discuss about. A concept that comes from the book that I'm reading this month that is known as A Radical Awakening, authored by Dr. Shefali. That is the book. So I came across a concept that is known as in the fog. Obviously, we know what a fog is. We see when there is the fog and mist, you cannot see clearly what is ahead. You have to, if you're driving, you have to put your fog lights on. Basically, your vision is not clear when in the fog. So, what is exactly living in the fog? So, Dr. Shefali describes living in the fog as a situation where you experience vision blindness and you fail to accept your reality. You fail to accept who you are. So, if you had a vision, it suddenly becomes blurred, and in most instances, you find that you have let go of your vision. And as Dr. Shefali says, is that most of the times, fear is the reason why we live in the fog, because we do not want to challenge the status quo. We do not want to challenge the society's expectations. We want to live according to what the society expects us to. Before you do something, you're always like, wait, what will people think about me? And the truth is that, hey, people will always say things about you. People will always say crazy things about you, such that if you happen to hear what people say behind your back, you'll think that someone else is living and someone else has impersonated you. Actually, it can be sad when, especially, you get to hear stories about yourself from people you thought were your friends. I know it can be hurting, but this is not supposed to stop you from realizing yourself. This is not supposed to stop you and blur your vision from what you are destined to be. Sometimes we feel like we cannot stand up for ourselves. We cannot say the truth because we are afraid that people will talk about us. We are afraid that it will have certain impacts on our life. We are afraid that we won't get society's approval. We are afraid that we may be harmed, whether emotionally or physically. We are just afraid. And fear is a bad factor because it restricts us and limits us from exploring and living to the best of our ability, living to actualize our potential. We are always clouded with fear, be it fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of loneliness, fear of unworthiness, fear of abuse. We are always clouded with fear. We fear so much. We fear such that even when we are facing issues, we are afraid of speaking to others because we do not know how they will perceive us. We do not know the consequences. That is the reason you'll find that most of the people out here are suffering in silence. They are suffering in silence, and most of the people succumb to, or they get in situations where they are depressed. Others may even commit suicide simply because you do not want to speak out. Yeah, it's sad that the society has put you in a situation where you're afraid to speak out because you're sure that the other person is going to judge you, or you're sure that the other person is going to say hurtful words that may make your situation worse, or rather they are going to gossip about you, and you wouldn't like. In a society where it has become so hard to trust people, it can be difficult to seek help. However, if you're out there, you're suffering, do not accept to let that overwhelm you. You may actually not realize that you have been living in fear unless you look deeper and get to understand what is your vision. And if you have stated that you'd like to do a certain thing, Perhaps you'd like to enroll in a certain course, you'd like to start a certain business, you'd like to attend a certain school, and every time you think about it, you keep postponing it, or you keep thinking, wait, what will people say if they hear I've joined a certain school? What will people say perhaps if I begin that business and it fails? I will be so embarrassed. That fear is controlling you, and as long as it's controlling you, you remain in that fog, unfortunately. So take up the decision, know when to get out of that fog, and go towards your vision. For your vision requires you to have a clear sight of it, and you cannot be in the fog and gain a clear sight of it. So that is it for now. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time, my name is Purity. Goodbye.